Today we're going to take a look at how to make one of these small cheese boards. Really simple CNC project using Fusion360. Let's take a look at how we can make that cheese board using Fusion360. First thing, there's a few orientation things that we need to think about as well when we're working in regards to CNC equipment. So I'll just start a sketch and we can just take a look here. So in Fusion360 we've got a series of planes. We've got an X plane, a Y plane, and a Z plane. Now the X plane is, if you're looking at the CNC machine, this is the one that travels from right to left in front of you. The Y plane is the one that travels back and forth, and the Z plane is the one that travels up and down. So your cutting tool is on the Z plane. So when we're drawing, we want to try to draw on the XY plane and work our way up. That gives us a little more reference when it comes to actually cutting this out. So I want to start a sketch on that plane. Now, the cutting board that I showed you is a rectangle with a bit of a handle on it. So I'm going to go sketch, select 2-point rectangle. Once I've selected 2-point rectangle, I'm going to come to the origin point. Now this is where X and Y equal 0. It's also the point where I want the CNC machine to start later. You can readjust this in the CAM end of things, but for now, we're just going to try to draw from this point. It'll help us reference things later on. So I'm going to go up. The material that we're working with is 190 millimeters by several meters long, because it's a board of wood, by 19 millimeters thick. So as far as the sizing on this goes, we can go as long as we want, but let's say I want to go 250. And for the width, I'm going to go 180. That's 10 mils smaller than our material, so it just gives us a little bit of room for error if something gets turned sideways or if we want a nice cut on the edges. The wood that you have may be larger, so double check and make sure that these dimensions work for you. If not, try your own. So I'm going to enter, and that's going to give me the basic shape of my cutting board. Now the one we saw at the beginning also had a handle on it. So I'm going to go to sketch, and I'm going to grab the ellipse tool. Now you could use the circle tool if you wanted, you could use something else, but I'm going to use ellipse. I'm going to come to the top here, and I'm going to move my mouse until I see a triangle. The triangle means midpoint, meaning the middle of the line. I want this handle to line up centered on the board, or at least in my case I do. So I'm going to go to that midpoint and slowly move my mouse up. Now you'll see as I move up, there's a dotted or a slashed line, similar to a hidden line in a drawing. That is just lining everything up with center. So I can click, and I can make my oval for the handle. So that's just going to be where the hole is. And I'm going to go to the center point in that again. And I'm going to make another one. And this one's going to be the actual wood part. So you can get kind of a shape there. And you can play around with this. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as what I'm doing. This is your design. So that gives me the basic shape. I've got some lines here though that I need to remove. Well, I don't need to remove them, but it just looks better if I do. So I'm going to go to sketch and trim. And this allows me to click on the lines that I don't want so I can delete them. And that's going to leave a shape like that. At this stage I can stop the sketch and we can see it in 2D. So there we go. The material that I'm working with is 19 millimeters. So I'm going to go to extrude here, grab this, and I'm going to extrude it to 19. Hit enter, and now I've got my cutting board in 3 dimensions. There's a few other things here. I don't want the sharp corners on my cutting board, and here my tooling's not going to be able to get into this corner. It's going to be too tight. Our tool's got a 6 millimeter diameter, so that tells me that the smallest radius fillet that can be in there is 3 millimeters, half the diameter of the tool. I'm going to modify and fillet. I'm going to select those inside fillets. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to grab the one on the other side at the same time, just to maintain symmetry. I don't want these to be different sizes. I can grab the arrow, pull it out, and that's going to give me a bit of the shape. So 12.5 is way bigger than it needs to be, but you might find that you want something a bit different with your cutting board. So play with it, make it the way you like it. I'm going to go OK on that one. I'm going to go, modify and fill it again. And I'm going to touch on these outside edges. It's important that you don't do the edges at the top, so like that one, because then it's going to move us from 2D machining to 3D machining, and we're not quite there yet. I'll round that off, so that's the way I like it. And I'm going to come down to the bottom, and we're going to do the bottom as well. So modify fillet. Grab that one. Going to grab that one. Let's bring these in a little bit. That looks about right. Click OK. So now I've got the basic shape of my cutting board. Now the one that I showed you previously had a pocket on the inside. So a pocket is just a reset area that's set down. And when we're on the CNC machine, we can drop into that pocket and cut out what we want to get some depth. To draw that pocket on here, we're going to go to Sketch, or Create Sketch, and we're going to click on the surface of our cutting board, or our cheese board. Now the pocket on the one I had followed the edge of the line all the way around. To do that perfectly without redrawing everything, I can go to Sketch and Offset. Then I can click on that line at the edge and adjust and make it just the way I like it. So that looks pretty good. Following that contour around, I'm going to say OK. So that gives me the start of the pocket. Now, I really don't like having the pocket around the top, so I'm just going to come in, grab the line tool again, and draw a line across the top. Then I'm going to grab Trim, we've done that already, and I'm going to trim out the lines I don't want. So now that is what the inside of my pocket is going to look like. This corner here, I might do a fillet. I can do it in Sketch, or I can do it as a solid at the end like we did before. For now, we'll just do it as a sketch. You can play with how that sizing is going to look. Up to you. I think just subtle if that looks okay. So I'll hit Enter to finish that fillet and stop Sketch. Moving back into 3 dimensions, you can see there's my sketch for the pocket. I'm going to get the Extrude tool again. Grab that, and I'm going to move it in. Now 10 is going to be a bit extreme. We just want a very slight pocket. So I'm going to just go 4 mil. Actually, I'm going to go negative 4 mil because I want it to go into the piece. Enter, and then that's going to leave a cut. So you can see the pocket all the way around. At this stage, this is ready to go into the CAM end of Fusion 360. So I'm going to end the video here, and we'll look at part 2 for how we can use CAM.